Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the amendment. I thank the good representative for bringing up this amendment. I think the reasons have been made already, but I want to provide some information, of first-hand information, which I have been able to collect over the last few weeks. Knowing that we were going to be debating this, in my town, the town of Greenwich, as well as the town of Stamford, I spoke to many residents and also ran a survey. What I found was, and I really asked 3 questions, one on absentee, one on early voting, and one on the possibility of introducing a picture ID. The surprising thing was that over a large majority of respondents were upset and confused that why were we revisiting a picture ID requirement. The question is that most people believed that that was already a necessary requirement to vote. And they were upset that that was not the case. As a matter of fact, I had to go back and say, well, listen, I'm just saying what the statute is, that you do not need a picture ID at this point. And there was not just a consensus, just like the good representative said, not just in all of Connecticut, and specifically in my towns which I have lived in, towns which I live in, there is a preponderance of not just support, but a demand that picture ID be a valid requirement. I got 270 comments. As you know, getting comments, we all know during periods of our political activity, eliciting one comment from a resident takes effort. I got 270 comments on the issue. And the only comments which came close to saying that perhaps a picture ID may not be a very required demand is when they said, well, I think a picture ID should be required, but it be given free of charge. And I commend the good representative of including it in the amendment, because there was also this recognition that that would do more good in not just the electoral process, but elsewhere. So I'm surprised that this is not a friendly amendment, because not a majority, not 60%, as the good ranking member pointed out, this is a demand and a requirement being asked by the people of Connecticut. This assembly needs to reflect what our people want, especially when it's very clear that over 80%, nearly 80%, a very large majority, not a 51% majority, want a picture ID to be used in the electoral process to vote. Now, I ask all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this amendment. If you support this amendment, you're supporting what people think is right. What we think is right, what makes sense, good case has been made. You need a picture ID for virtually every other activity we engage in. To say that you would need one for casting the most important act of democracy is not asking too much. And guess what? I know now from my primary discussions and asking everyone that this is something our people support. So I ask everyone to support this amendment, but I also want to point out that those who oppose this amendment stand on the wrong side of the people. Those who oppose this amendment are doing something which our people are against. And those who oppose this amendment today are going to be casting a vote against democracy. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And once again, I ask everyone to support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you.